How's it going, guys? What I wanted to do today is to talk with you all about this monstrosity of a federal spending bill that Congress just passed. And this is something that we need to be paying attention to because I think that it's going to lead us down a road that most people do not expect. Now, as many of you all know, the American taxpayer is going to be getting a $600 stimulus as part of this bill. But there's a lot of other things about this bill that you may not be aware of, that we need to talk about, that you need to be aware of yourself, that everyone should be enraged about. And I think that some of the things that we're seeing out of Washington right now should be very concerning for us. If any of you guys have ever followed some of the things that have happened economically in some of these other countries, you'll see that we are actually headed down that same road ourselves. And I just want to show you all a couple of things that we have here. You can see here, of course, if we go back to our first headline, and we will see that Washington recently passed the 6,000-page relief bill. Look at this monstrosity. 6,000 pages, and most of the people in Washington never read all of this bill. There was no way that they would have time to read it. You can see there, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, if we look into some of the things that are in this bill, and it just continues to get worse. Now, you do see some of the things in this bill are actually contrary to what you may think. Now, of course, there is hundreds of millions of tax dollars being spent to secure borders in Middle Eastern countries, as we see here over in Israel. That's a big chunk of what's going on. You can see that some of the other things that are in the bill is it keeps MS-13 gang amnesty, making it possible for members of a very violent gang to remain in this country. There are all kinds of appropriations that goes into this bill that is just ridiculous. $65 million to conserve fish in the western U.S. There's also billions in foreign aid spending, and we're actually going to look into a few more of these as well. You can see gender programs in Pakistan. It's just absolutely insane, guys, what they're doing. And, we should be ashamed for having these people in our halls of government. Congress defunds ICE, opens the door for migrant wave. There's some spending cuts to ICE and things like that. What I wanted to show you here, this is kind of a breakdown of some of the things that we see. You can see here as far as domestic funding, you just look at the amounts here. The Kennedy Center, Smithsonian, all these art galleries, some of the foreign governments that are getting money out of the spending bill: Egypt, Sudan, Ukraine, Israel, Nepal, Burma, Cambodia, Pakistan, Asia, and then, of course, the American people, we get $600. That's what is in this bill, and it is absolutely appalling. And there are many reasons why this is dangerous. One of the biggest reasons is what it does to our currency. The only way that this government has to pay back any of this is simply by printing more money, and that is where things get real dangerous for us, because I want to show you this chart. You can see here 23.6% of all U.S. dollars were created within the last year. You can see here the average creation of our currency, and we have a fiat monetary system. I suggest any of you guys should go out there and look that up. Basically, ever since Nixon pulled us off of the gold standard, which there's a lot of history behind why that was done, our money is set up to be manipulated. Our money has no backing other than the fact that it is just a promissory note, is all it is. It's just because of the faith that people put into it. And you can see the printing of our money. within the last year has skyrocketed because of all of the funding, the pumping that the federal government has been doing. They're shutting down businesses, telling everybody to stay home, and they're just running up bills on the credit card. I would suggest strongly that you guys look into the history of what has happened in all of these countries. I think that you should look into the history of the Weimar Republic in Germany. You should look into what happened in early 2000 down in Argentina, and things are getting very interesting, needless to say. There's a lot of things that we should be concerned about, and this is something that can be a danger to all of us. This is going to destroy our economy if it keeps going the way that it is. These mandates, these crushing mandates. I was talking to a waitress the other day. My wife and I stopped at a restaurant in our area. A lot of the restaurants have been closed. Of course, as of the time that I'm recording this, many of them are back open to limited seating, and she was talking about how that the restaurant has been extremely devastated, that they're struggling because of these mandates. And this is not just a local mom and pop store, but it is one that is being hurt severely. And also some of the things that's happening with a lot of these mom and pop stores, there are a lot of these shops that are out of business. I mean, it is killing the economy, while at the same time they're printing money like this. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous for us economically as a nation, and we need to be aware of it. Guys, this is something that, again, you need to study what has happened to some of these other countries that have done this, that have followed this path, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is an economic bubble that will eventually burst. But guys, just a quick video that I wanted to do. I want you guys to check into this. I'm going to leave a link down in the description to a book that I highly recommend called Surviving the Economic Collapse. And what it is a book that details what happened down in Argentina during the early 2000s, when they did the same thing that we are currently doing in this country. Tried to go into deficit spending, thinking that they could get away with it for an extended period of time, and it did not work. Guys, this is interesting times that we're living in. Another thing to be chalked up to 2020. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe, share the video, check out all the links down in the description, and we'll see you next time.